Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Go Premanandi. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaurnitai ki jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. Shri Lakshmana Singha ki. Brahadev ki. Shri Radha Govinda Madhava ki. Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Agoda Premanandi. All glorious to the assembled devotees, all glorious to Sri Guru and Grand, all glorious to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Hare. Is there anything on the calendar today? Any events?
No.
Nothing.
The next one will be Ekadashi.
Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from the 8th canto, chapter 5, text number 45. Please repeat. Saha tvam naha darshaya atmanam asmat karana gocharam prapananam didrikshunam sasmitam te mukha ambujam satvang no darshayatmanam asmat karana gocharam prapananam didrikshunam sasmitang te mukambujam satvang no darshayatmanam asmat karana gocharam prapananam dedikshunam sasmitang te mukambujam satvang no darshayatmanam Asmat karana gocharam prapananam dedikshunam sasmitang te mukam bujam Tatvang tashatmanam Asmat karana gocharam Papratnam tedrikshunam Tatvam no darshayatmanam Asmat karana gocharam Papanam tedrikshunam Asmat karana gocharam Papananam tedrikshunam Ladies, Satvang darshayatmanam Asmat karana gocharam Prapananam dedrikshunam Sasmitam te mukambujam Satvang darshayatmanam Asmat karana gocharam Papananam dedrikshunam Sasmitang te mukambujam Saha He the Supreme Personality of Godhead Tram You are my Lord Naha to us Darshaya Be visible Atmanam in your original form Asmat Karana Gocharam appreciable by our direct senses especially by our eyes Prapananam we are all surrendered unto you Didrikshunam yet we wish to see you Sasmitam smiling Te your Mukha ambujam lotus-like face Translation. Do we need a translation? Anybody needs a translation? No, I was thinking into French. Everyone okay with my English?
Tout le monde comprend le français, l'anglais?
Okay. It's okay?
Can you speak Australian?
Oh, okay, mate. She'll be all right, mate. Okay, good on you. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The title of the chapter is The Demigods Appeal to the Lord. So here they are, they're appealing to the Lord. They want something. Obviously, generally when we appeal to somebody, we want something. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are surrendered unto you, yet we wish to see you. Please, make your original form and smiling face visible to our eyes and appreciable to her other senses. Interesting. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The devotees are always eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His original form, with His smiling lotus-like face. They are not interested in experiencing the impersonal form. The Lord has both impersonal and personal features. The impersonalists have no idea of the personal feature of the Lord. But Lord Brahma and the members of his disciplic succession want to see the Lord in his personal form. Without a personal form, there can be no question of a smiling face, which is clearly indicated here by the words Sasmitam te mukambujam. And literally speaking, refers to your smiling like lotus face. Those who are in the Vaishnava Sampradaya of Brahma always want to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are eager to realize the Lord's personal feature, not the impersonal feature. As clearly stated here, Asmat Karana Gocharam. The personal feature of the Lord can be directly perceived by our senses. Om Jnana Timrandasya Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshuramlatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. The spiritual master very kindly opens our eyes, which are blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. In this world we're blind. I'm looking here at the word Asmat, or the words Asmat Karana Gocharam, which Srila Prabhupada mentions at the end of the purport. Generally, Karana is referring to the cause of all causes. And it's interesting because for people who are not in the line of Parampara line of the Vaishnav line, in this case we hear Lord Brahma, they will see Karana, or the cause, as something else. Those who are in the Sankaracharya line, they see the cause, as mentioned here, as the all-pervasive Brahman. Those who are not in any such line of spiritual line, they may be in the line of scientists or the line of sensual enjoyers. They see the cause of everything as maybe sex life. In the Bhagavad Gita we see simply enjoy the material senses, or they're scientifically inclined that the cause is some chance occurrence of some indescribable material phenomena, or it has no cause at all. Atheists, only atheists, but maybe agnostic, or whatever it may be, they see different causes. And they're busy trying to see that cause. Well, they don't see the cause necessarily. They are convinced that that is the cause. They follow that line of conviction, and they want to see that cause. Others in the devotional line, they see Vishnu, maybe a demigod. Those are a little bit more materialistically religious. We'll see some demigod as the cause of all causes, the object of their vision. They want to see them. Or those who are devotees of Lord Narayan, for them, that is their goal. For those who are devotees of Lord Ram, and within the pastimes of Krishna, Mother Yasoda is always seeing Krishna as her little baby, her little child. He doesn't see him as a full-grown youth in a sense. And in the material world, we have a similar experience when I guess it's a common thing. Mothers, they always visualize their son, even though he's 45 years old and he's the head of a big business or something. They still see him like their little son or their little daughter. It's the, what do they say? It's the, in their eye of love, in the heart. They see like that. Their conviction is like that. Their goal, their objective is like that. There's another word, there's a few key verses. This word here, karna gocharam. And the word gocharam, we hear this word quite often. In this case, it's with the senses, gocharam. And we see a kinchana gocharam. One is, what is a kinchana gocharam? No, yeah, different. Maybe say in different places we may see different descriptions, but one who is materially exhausted. In other words, one who has no more interest in trying to enjoy. Like here, the demigods, Brahma, the demigods, they want to see the Lord with their senses. We want to see things or feel things or hear things, touch things. The senses are our means of connecting, so to speak, in a sense. We want to connect, we want to experience through the senses our karna. What is our goal? What is our objective? It could be anything, practically speaking. We want, yes, I want it. I want that. Then we may have our karna karnam, something we think is the cause of all causes, but we're always trying to get that, which is going to satisfy us through our senses. They're so important. When our senses are not working, it's pretty tough, huh? I mean, some of us may have experienced, I don't know. Some of us may be experiencing. Maybe if we can't hear anything, it's a big shock, it's pretty tough. Seeing, especially the eyes, we're so much attached to seeing, although in reality, realization is more emphasized through hearing a subject matter, especially spiritual subject matters. We see through the ears more than the eyes, really, because it's an inner thing. But in the material world, we generally refer to our eyes, what I can see. We hear that that's imperfect. But nonetheless, this is our world, so to speak. This is our absolute, this is our truth. This is our reality. Through what we perceive through our senses. They're so important, and including the mind, and the intelligence reflecting on all of the pictures in the mind, coming to various conclusions, coming to various convictions about things, becoming attached to things, and so on and so forth. And then endeavoring then to fulfill those desires and attachments through the senses. This way we go through our lives, trying to make a perfect picture. But nothing in this world is perfect. Just like we become very attached to somebody's beauty or something, so-called beauty. And then they die or they disappear or they leave us. It's a devastation. We can't get them. Everyone has experienced this probably. You're really infatuated with someone. You can't get the picture of their face out of your mind. It just kind of like, you're going crazy. So-called love, madness is described as madness in the reality, but it's so-called love based upon this lust of trying to basically enjoy this and that and so many different things with me and for me in the center. So how to transform that? This verse, although the demigods, Krishna, they're his devotees, Krishna's devotees, but they're materialistic. They have a very materialistic, not all of them, but most of them have a materialistic purpose of approaching the Lord, as we've been hearing. They want to recover their material situations. I want it back. Maybe we approach the Lord for these type of things sometimes. There's some devotee, but it's not a pure devotee. But the Lord is reciprocating with them. It's not the, let's say, the most sweetest, or let's say the most selfless, sweetest form, you could say, of devotional service. But nonetheless, it's devotional service in a mixed form. And the Lord is reciprocating. Ye yatamam prapadyante. There's another word in this verse, prapananam, perhaps the most, it's usually prapanam, but here is prapananam. What does that mean? Surrender. We are surrendered. We are fully surrendered. We've surrendered unto you. But they're surrendering unto Krishna because they want something, you know. It's still not completely pure. But because they're surrendering completely to Krishna, Krishna is reciprocating. The reciprocation was there, but the reciprocation will be in a kind of a way which is not desired by the pure devotees. They don't ask the Lord for such things. But again, they're asking, we want to see your face. Maybe we see, like, for instance, if we go to the Ishopanishad, there's a little bit of, it seems like, there's a little bit of, you know, please remove my doubt type of thing. I'm not 100% confident. So it's like that. Well, you show me. Sometimes when people, maybe a very convincing argument or something, maybe that person's convinced. Maybe they've even seen. But the other person's not quite so convinced. They say, you show me, then I'll believe you. Show me, show me. And many times people say that on Sankirtana, or when you're preaching. You say all these things about this Krishna as God. Oh, believe me, I'll believe what you say if you show me. They say like that. Isn't it? Have you ever had that? Yeah, you know, okay. But there's eligibility to see. This is the point. The underlying point is that you can't just say, with material, atakshri Krishna namadi nabhavad gvayam indri, with material senses, you can't just see something spiritual. Even material things, Prabhupada describes, we cannot see very much. We can see something, whether it's right or wrong, but we can see something, but we can't see very much. We're limited. Our senses are very limited. And even our conclusion of what we see has a tendency to be imperfect. We make mistakes. And we easily get cheated, illusioned. These tendencies are there in this material world. And we remain in a circle of people who see it this way, and we don't have any means of seeing outside of that little circle, hardly. We may question it, but what can we see? And the purpose of the Shastras, the purpose of scriptures, the purpose of spiritual guides is to help us to open our eyes, not the physical ones so much, but to open up our consciousness so we begin to see things in a different light. It's like when we're in the dark, what can we see? We can only see shadows and reflections, and we hear this a little bit, this is this and that. But our vision, our understanding is very shallow. We can't see much. We're like the example of giving a frog in the well. And because of prapananam, the degree of surrender, Krishna says, ye yatamam prapadyate, Prapajate also means, what does it mean? Surrender also. Different words are used to refer to this principle. Yayatamam prapajate tam statam. Does it go? Haiva bhajamyaham mamavatmanavartante manusham. Yeah. So as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. People like to quote the second part of the verse. Huh? What is the second part? Everyone, what do? Follows my path in all respects. Whatever you do, it's all the same, right? It's all the same. They're all following the same path. It's all Krishna or whoever it is, Brahman path, whatever. All the same. Well, that's not exactly what Krishna says. Sure, everything is provided by Krishna. Absolutely everything. The brain of the scientist, everything provided by Krishna. The faith that they have in their scientific conclusions or theories provided by Krishna. He's reciprocating with them. That's what they want. They don't want to see the smiling face of Krishna. So Krishna reveals his face to them in a different way. Huh? This is it, a black hole. Krishna's a black hole. Okay. He's a black man, now he's a black hole. Right? Krishna means black, right? So he's a black hole. Why not a white hole? Black hole. It's got to be black. A black hole, dark hole, so no one can see what's in it. It's all black. So he's reciprocating with them. Or Krishna's a big bang. Okay. Or Krishna's death is all over, finished. Forget it. Krishna is, God is, LSD. LSD. And people say, God is LSD. Or he's just nothing. Or he's just a light. He's just a light. If someone came up to you and said, who are you? I say, I'm just a light. You think they're crazy, huh? He's a light. I'm nothing. You might think, oh, you're very humble. But it's crazy. I mean, who are you? I'm nothing. I'm a light. All-pervasive light. You don't look like one. I'm a black hole. Yeah, I can agree with that one. Or whatever. I'm the cause of all causes. Yeah. There's, you look at a person, we look at their face, So you look at their feet. You don't generally you can just stare at their feet, but it's generally, well, you're looking at my feet. Look at me. We say, look at me. We think the face. Yeah? So the demigods also, we want to see the face. We want to be sure that it is you. Not just a tape recording going on or something. We want to see you. Well, I really want to see you, Lord. Who was that? George. Singing away to the world. I really want to see you, Lord. Hare Krishna and so on. Huh? Yes. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu Me. Kindly reveal yourself unto me, my Lord. But how the Lord reveals himself is not that cheap. As we surrender unto him, prapanam, or prapananam in this verse. Surrender. It's not like, hey, I just want to see. I want to see the president right now. Okay? Tell him I want to see him, please. Well, that may not be impossible. But it's not generally so easy like that. There is you could say, a process of seeing the Lord. Now let's just read this verse and we'll go back to that. This is text or mantra 15 of Sri Ishopanishad. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya pihitam kam tattvang pushan pavrinu satya dharmaya drishtaye. You remember this verse? I remember 19 what was it? It was the second year that the VIHE started. I don't know what year that was. It must have been about 80 something, 89 or something, I don't know. Late 80s. And this was, we would chant every day these verses from Isopanishad. My teacher then was Romapad Swami. Romapad Swami was teaching Isopanishad, I remember. And Prahladananda Maharaj was teaching, I think it was Nectar of Instruction. And Danadhar Maharaj was teaching Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think it was Burjan was doing Gita. These were the teachers on the VIHE, you know. Remember, every day we chant all the verses of Isopanishad. Completely forgotten them except for the first few.
What year was that?
It must have been about 89. I think it was the second year, I mean, maybe 90, I don't quote me exactly. Around about that time, second year, the VIHE. I joined the VIHE about that time also. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. This is from the Upanishads, Isha Upanishad. Oh, my Lord, sustainer of all that lives, your real face is covered by your dazzling effulgence. Kindly remove that covering and exhibit yourself to your pure devotee. Yeah, so devotee naturally, a lover wants to see their beloved. It's just natural. You're wondering, will they come? Yeah. Well, you may have some doubt there. You know, boys and girls, they make some rendezvous. They want to meet, you know, and the boy doesn't come, and the girl says, "Is he coming? Where is he? Maybe he's met another girl." She's going crazy, you know. He's going crazy. She's panicking. He's on the mobile, you know, blah, 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 and he's not answering. She's really going bananas. Isn't it? Having a panic attack, practically. And then when she sees him, it's like, boom, 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 boom. It's like, ah! Anticipation, you know. I really want to see him. I want to see him. Or a mother with her child who's disappeared. She can't, nothing. She's going crazy. Completely crazy. Just wants to see her child. She can't think of anything else whatsoever. In a sense, we can take this as say, some kind of an example which we can follow. Prabhupada uses this as an example. He uses that. He also uses a businessman who's so infatuated with business, his whole life is focused around it. There's no other motive other than to make money or do business. The demigods, not all of them, of course, and Brahma is amongst them. He's a pure devotee. In that sense, we understand he's not maybe acting sometimes as one, but he's the head of our disciplic succession. So some of them have got other motivations. It's only natural. When, you know, people pray to God, they've got different motivations. But here still, the Lord is going to reciprocate with them accordingly. When Krishna entered into the arena of the Dana Yajna of Kamsa, did everyone see him the same? Same person, right? But did they all see him the same? No. How did they see him? Yeah, as they surrender unto him. Surrender isn't just a one-way thing. It can be the other way. We're opposed to him. It's a kind of other side of the same coin. The same coin. I'm not going to surrender to him. He's just a no good for nothing. He's a rascal. He's my enemy. He's getting in my way. He's a puffed up little coward boy. And others are seeing him as just an ordinary guy, a pretty little boy. What else are they seeing him as? Death personified. What else? The most beautiful person. What else? Super soul. Probably a few other things. They're just seeing him as their beloved son, and there's nothing else on their minds. Or their only friend, their friend. He's like, you know, life means nothing. He's my friend of friends, I just, everything for him. And others are seeing him as a strong, maybe little boy, but they're seeing a restless, they're a challenger. Everyone's seeing differently. As they're surrendering unto him, Krishna is revealing himself accordingly to them. Because we're seeing with our senses, which are not purified, so we're seeing him accordingly. It's like we see through the lenses of a glass, and if we swap, anyone here wearing glasses? Anybody? I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. Nitai, if we swap glasses, I don't say we do, but if we did, you might see things differently. Right? You've been wrong all along. Yeah. We're the same, the object is the same, but we're seeing it differently because our means of seeing it is different. We're so dependent on the means of seeing, isn't it? So dependent on how I hear, Then, of course, that also includes hearing from others, but still, it's synthesized or assimilated in our sensual mind, and we come to it accepting or rejecting, likes and dislikes. But our means of conclusion may not be so perfect. We are so proud of it. We're so proud of it. So, prapanam is not just, maintaining our imperfect, let's say, conclusions brought about by our sensual contacts, but it's being willing, akinchana gosharam, not just give up things externally, but to give up this, let's say, self-centered means of conclusion. Well, we get very angry when things don't go the way I perceive it, or we perceive it. So this giving this up, this surrender, prapananam, goes beyond just, I surrender unto you, but as long as you give me what I want mentality, which is a common factor in relationship, even with God. We become angry, or we give him up, become an atheist, or become another Christian, or something else. It's nonsense. A little more to it than that. This prapananam, this surrender to the Lord, which Bhagavad Gita in the final verse, not final, but one of the final conclusions of the Bhagavad Gita, sarvadharmam padityagya mamikam sharanam. Sharanam also refers to surrender, taking full shelter of the Lord, completely taking shelter of the Lord, completely giving up all other, thoughts of shelters, whatever, attachments, whatever. It's completely surrendering to the Lord. Sarvadharmam padityagya, completely surrendering to the Lord, giving up everything else, giving up. Giving it up. Akinchana gosharam. And then, this verse here uses this word, which one are we on? Yeah. Asmat. Asmat, appreciable. Relative in the material world, we could say, but spiritually fully satisfying. We see this in Bhagavatam, to fully satisfy the heart. Process. It's a process. The surrendering is a surrendering process. So the process is there, which will gradually free us from this, let's say, imperfect relationship or imperfect perception, imperfect conclusion. And Krishna will reciprocate. As we surrender unto him, he rewards us accordingly. He'll take away whatever the covering. In this verse, it's the impersonal Brahman. The devotee is, the Lord is understood in various features, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaneti, Shabdite, etc. And Brahman is the blinding effulgence. He doesn't reveal himself that easily. He's not easy to see. in his personal form. We can see him in his material form, the material cosmos, although we don't recognize it's the form of God. It is another form. We're surrendering to the material energy. He reveals himself in that way, and some of the devotees have mentioned death personified, an ordinary, this, a materialistic, whatever it is, a strong person, a beautiful person. That may be seen as a material understanding also. It can be seen, God, and many people say God is just the universe, the cosmic manifestation, or the maximum you come in Bhagavad Gita, universal form. A lot, when we were youth, when we were studying the Bhagavad Gita by, Isherwood and this wood and that wood, all these different translations, the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita was the universal form. And if you took enough LSD, you'll see it. If you know what LSD is. Upside down? Upside down? Oh, left side down, left side down. Something like that. We have all these imaginations that are... But that's not not a very personal form of God, It's a form, temporary it may be, but it's not the personal form of God. And beyond that, there's the light, the white light, confirmed, the divine light, that blinding light. You just kind of exist in that light, experiencing unending something or another in that divine light. No worries, mate. I said I would speak some Australian for you. It's one stage, but the devotee, what is a devotee? Devotee means devotion. It means devoted or whatever. There's got to be an object to that devotion. It's not so easy to devote oneself to a divine light. Or even the universal form, Prabhupada would say. It's pretty hard to dress the universal form. Even Vishesha might have a hard time organizing her crew to make, whatever, Janmastami outfits for the universal form. You'd be forever doing it, forever. Everyone in the universe is trying to do it, actually. Making clothes for themselves, for their babies, for their lovers, for their business, or whatever it is. In a sense, everyone's doing that. They're trying to decorate the universal form, but according to their vision of it. We don't know how to please Krishna. We're seeing it how I want to see him. Even the demigods, there's a bit of an element of that. They want to see that form of God who's going to help them out. It's natural. We want to see here, let's see what it says. Prabhupada says, in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord explains his personal rays, the dazzling effulgence of his personal form. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, he says, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. We could go into that verse as another class, and then be 1,000,001 questions on that verse. But ultimately it means that behind this impersonal Brahman, what is the basis behind it? It is not the final all in all. It is the effulgence. It's like we hear a sound, there's a source of the sound. A light, there's a source of the light. Light is not the source of itself. It is an energy coming, or let's say a characteristic of an object. That light and heat and sound, these are coming, energies. Similarly, this is, in one sense, is described, one of the aspects of the Supreme Lord is Brahman. Brahman doesn't just refer to light. It's one of the natures of Brahman, but Brahman means spiritual. It has other characteristics other than just light. Other characteristics. Everything is Brahman. Everything ultimately is Brahman. The material is covered by Krishna's arrangement. We're covered here by the modes of nature. But otherwise, everything is Brahman. We just can't see it. It's like when we're asleep, we see whatever comes in along in our dream, but it doesn't mean that there's anything else outside of that dreaming reality. We only see the reflections. It has its, we call it real existence in the material world, which is a reflection of the spiritual world. But everything has its source like that. Krishna is sarva karana karanam. He is the cause of all causes. He has no cause in himself. He's the eternal cause. He's the eternal existence. And everything else is, you could say, is an expansion of himself in various ways. We also, everything is, but everything has its part to play. Just because it's a part, it doesn't make it the whole. It's like a tiny part of our finger doesn't mean the finger is the whole. It's a part and parcel of the whole. Everything is a part. So understanding the individual constituents in relationship to their origin is like our finger. We don't see it separately from the body, generally speaking. It's a part of the whole body. So the process of seeing the whole body is not just seeing the tip of the finger. It's not completely wrong. It's certainly a part, but it's not complete. It's incomplete. Understanding of the absolute truth. Incomplete. So the complete understanding, how to understand that. When you're a tiny, weedy little ant crawling there, it cannot understand. This is the body of a person. Are you talking nonsense? How can a person have a body like that? Because he only knows his own body and a few other bodies that he relates with. He can't conceive of a body which is 1,000,000 times bigger than his, with a brain 1,000,000,000 times more developed or whatever it is. It's almost inconceivable to a teeny weeny ant. We're like teeny ants. Even Lord Brahma, I was reading last night, during the night before, I can't remember which night it was, but one night recently, the pastime of Lord Brahma, and how he is trying to steal the calves and the cowherd boys and so on. Because, it was I finished off that chapter, the last chapter translated by Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam. So, reading the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and so on and so forth. And how it's like, Lord Brahma realized he was just like an insect in a pot. He thought he was the boss of the pot, This is my pot. Who's this little guy here playing around in the forest? He said, no, look at him. The kids are stealing his ladus. What kind of God is this? I thought he was my God. Oh my God, what is this? And he tried to, for various reasons, he got up to some mischief and tried to steal Krishna's cows and cowherd boys. Tried to. And then came to his senses and he just said, I'm just like another Australian word, just like an insect in a pot. I'm a noble. I can't, it's like inconceivable. The Supreme Personality of God appearing as a big light. Have you ever tried having a loving reciprocation with a light? The flies do, right? And what happens to them? They get burned. It's not a very nice relationship if you really want to get down to it. And we're always looking for that. The whole purpose is our life is really relationship, looking. Not just a relationship. That's it. Okay, thanks very much. I'm finished with you. Now I'll get on with my business. Thanks, God. I've got what I want. Okay. If I need anything else, I'll give you a ring, okay? It's a kind of a type of thing, But that's not that's not going to really satisfy the self, the soul, the living being. When we're completely prapananam, completely surrendered, whatever you want, my Lord, you've just read 6 Shastakam or spoken it. My Lord, you can do what you want with me. And then the Lord does do what he wants with us. He doesn't want us to be in the material world. He doesn't want us to be, he doesn't want to be the order supplier all the time. Yes, it's a bit frustrating. All the relationship with a person is they only come and see you when they want something. Isn't it? Have you ever had that experience? Huh? Never. Never. And when you ask them for something, they say, no, I'm too busy. I'll come and see you when I want something, okay? Give me this, give me that. It's a kind of, some relationship is there, but it's not a very deep relationship. It's not a very sweet relationship. It may be because of the fraternal affection, but, there's more to a relationship than just the one-way traffic, It's got to be reciprocal to make it complete. So devotee doesn't ask. In a loving relationship, you don't ask, give me this, give me that. I don't want to see, I just want to have your energy. Just give me your energy. This is Duryodhana devotion, or whatever you want to call it, isn't it? I just want your army, Krishna. Just I don't want you. Just give me your army, mate. Now, Arjuna didn't want the army, he just wanted Krishna. Bit of difference. They were both satisfied. Krishna reciprocated perfectly with both of them. Duryodhana was in ecstasy. That fool, Arjuna, what a fool he is. Oh my God, I thought he was a fool, but now I really know he's a fool. He's just chosen that no good for nothing, coward, How is he going to help him? Useless guy. And now I've got his army. Krishna's reciprocating. And he's reciprocating with us, I'm sorry to say. All of our issues and whatever it is, Krishna's reciprocating with us according to our prapananam, our surrender. We're still sticking our nose in between us and Krishna. Our senses, our perspective, yes, like little kids, So Krishna's reciprocating by frustrating us sometimes, giving us the sauce sometimes, taking us out sometimes, doing different things to let go and not be so attached to all of these, the ways we interpret it, or the way we like to accept another person's interpretation because it fits me, and then when it doesn't, then I go away, then I take this one, and it's not fixed. It's not fixed. It's not objectively fixed. Heart has to become purified. The sense through the process, whether it's the Brahman, whether it's the material conclusion, the material perception, whatever it may be, false perceptions of various kinds, imperfect, let's say, imperfect vision. Imperfect vision. What can we see with our imperfect vision? Therefore, we come to an imperfect conclusion. Whether it's day-to-day dealings, in many cases, we try to take Shastric reference, but there's one here for this situation, one here for that situation. We choose the one which we like sometimes, justify our falsity, etc. And like this, the world goes on. Wars are fought, religions try to crush each other, politicians praise each other, or generally they don't praise each other. They generally find every fault under the sun, even if it's not there, etc. Although everyone's got imperfect vision in that sense. And the pure vision, when there's no more of this, selfish motivation there, when we're actually prapanam, surrendered to the Lord. So the process of bhakti or devotional service, there are other processes too, which may step by step, but the complete process is bhakti, pure devotional service, which is received from the pure devotees, those pure representatives of Krishna, those who have seen the truth. And basically, Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, perhaps verse 9, is it? Karpanya dosho? What's that? Who knows that verse? Karpanya dosho? Prapanam. The word prapanam is there. Huh? What does Krishna say? Karpanya dosho? Oh, too many, getting old. What does Arjuna say? What does Arjuna say? Now I am confused about my duty. Huh? I have lost my composure due to weakness of heart. Now in this condition I am surrendering. Prapanam. The same word is there. Prapanam. I'm surrendering unto you. Kindly, and I now accept you as my spiritual guide. Kindly instruct me. This is the key. Prapanam. Please instruct me. Okay. I want you to go into the forest and chop the wood. No, no. Oh, no. I'm surrendering to you, but not that. No. Something else. Okay, wash the pots. No. Okay, clean the kitchen. I'm too busy. It's complete. Prapanam refers to complete ultimately, not conditional. Not conditional surrender. Complete. Unconditional surrender. This is how full Krishna reciprocate. Huh? And then in the 4th chapter, maybe text 34, what does Krishna say? This time it's Krishna speaking. What do you say? Tadvidi. Krishna is Savior. Yeah, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire. Inquire how? Submissively. And render service. Submissive inquiry is good, but without rendering or without this surrender means whatever you want. Rendering service is the rendering of service, not according to our concoction. Rendering service to someone doesn't mean I'll serve. It's like if we invite someone for lunch, generally we try to find out what they like, isn't it? You say, I don't care what you like, it's what I like that counts, and you're going to have to eat what I like. That's not service. That may be something, but it's not service. Service means to please the other person or the whatever, the country, whatever it is, do what they want. I'm serving the country. It means we have to follow what they want, not what we want. You get arrested if you do that. We have to find out what they want, and that's what it means. That's how Krishna reciprocates when we're in that mood. Prabhupada would say to many times, he said, Satsvarup Maharaj, you're not a very good manager, but you're completely surrendered to whatever I asked you to do. Therefore, we're perfect, surrendered. Even if you can't do it, if I ask you to do it, you surrender to my instructions. Surrender unto me what I want, not what I want, you want. So we find out what a person wants and we make it. And if we don't like them, we do the opposite. We know that they don't like potatoes, so we make everything of potatoes. Right? Potato pie, potato halava, potato pakoras, potato everything. And for sure they won't come back for lunch again, that's for sure. Huh? I remember one time I was going, I think it was in New Zealand or somewhere, and they asked me what was my menu. I said nothing specific, I just don't take tomatoes and cabbage. But they misread it, and everything had tomatoes and cabbage in it. It was innocent, it wasn't purposeful. It's okay. Accept whatever Krishna provides, but if you really want to please someone, you find out what. So we should find out what Krishna wants, not what the way I want him to be. That may be. Some people like that. But that's not really devotion. Devotion is to find out. So the process of practical ninefold process, and Prabhupada goes into explain, the ninefold process of devotional service given by the pure devotee, that one who's seen the truth and can see our situation, just like maybe a teacher can see the different stages that the student is on, and can give specific instructions here and there, maybe a little bit different to different students who are differently eligible to receive knowledge, maybe due to their age, maybe due to their material condition, whatever it is, but different ways of presenting the same knowledge according to their ability to digest. It's not just boom, everyone the same. Everyone is different. Therefore, different religions, different time, place, and circumstances, different stages. But ultimately, it all leads to the ultimate cause. Of course, it has to be bona fide education or bona fide spiritual knowledge, but that's the ultimate goal, to not just stay at that level of education or stay at that level of understanding, but to reach the actual cause of all causes, the highest pinnacle of truth. And one who has seen that truth can give that knowledge unto us. Now, he's not just going to say, boom, here's Krishna's face. Of course, we can hear from them. We have beautiful deity worship. We have pictures. We have descriptions of the beautiful face of the Lord. And certainly, if we try to visualize in our contaminated hearts that pure form of Radha Govinda Madhava, Krishna Balaram, Gaur Nitai, etc., or the pictures we see in the beautiful paintings here of Krishna Balaram Govinda and Gaur Nitai, etc., then that will purify, even though it's not necessarily, I could say, the direct relationship may not be there, but it's nonetheless very pure. Just like if we hear something now about what's going on in Australia, we're not in Australia, but it has an effect of making us conscious of Australia. We start to, sometimes we even think we are in Australia, even if we're not. I'm sure Lochan's thinking like that. Probably wishing he was in Australia.
Checking the weather, Maharaj.
Huh?
It's winter there, it's 25 degrees.
It's terrible. That's shocking. It's winter and it's 25 degrees centigrade. That's dreadful. Terrible weather. We can't imagine what that's like. Is that summer, whatever. And, but you kind of get the idea maybe a little bit. It's not exactly in Australia, but we're kind of almost like relishing, because he's seen the truth. He's seen Australia. He's seen the truth. So if you want to know of Australia, you have to approach him. Reveal the truth unto us of Australia. And one who's seen the truth of Krishna can reveal it. But he doesn't just reveal it. Okay, you want to go to Australia? You're going to have a bit of money. You've got to get your money. You've got to get a visa. You've got to get a ticket. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to know what to do, what not to do. Otherwise they won't let you in. Etc., etc. And then you've got to know how I can stay there. I can't stay there. You've got to get a visa. You've got to go through the ropes to be able to go. So it's a spiritual word also. You've got to get the right person. Maybe in this case, it may be the ambassador or something. Gives you the visa so you can go. So we've got to get the visa to see Krishna, to see Australia. You've got to get the visa. Get the visa. So you've got to go to the right person. So someone who's seen the truth, someone who's a representative of the truth, can give us the means by which we can become eligible to live in Australia, if you want to go there, or wherever it may be. If you want to see Krishna's face, otherwise he reciprocates. Okay, you just see my effulgence. The light coming out of Australia. You don't see Australia. Or you just see the light of the sun. You don't see the sun itself. You get blinded. What to speak of the personality within the sun. You have to become Brahman, pure spirit, and with the right motivation to be able to see that personality also. We may be living in France, but we can't see the president. Maybe sometimes. We see a picture of him. So we may be seeing in our hearts a picture, but that picture of Krishna is absolute. That picture purifies us of all these other visions, all these other faces that we want to see, whether it's the face of Australia, or the face of our girlfriend or boyfriend, or our kid, or whatever it is, football, or whatever face it is we want to see. We can become purified of that if we, through our senses, if we allow the beautiful, even though it may not be, you could say with pure love, we have some faith by the mercy of the pure devotee, we're able to have some eligibility to become purified by seeing that picture of Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, by serving Krishna, by smelling items offered to Krishna, by tasting food offered to Krishna and singing his names, even though in one sense our consciousness is not pure. But this is the method of purifying our consciousness. This is Krishna's reciprocation with his pure devotee, giving us this opportunity to become purified. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay. Yes, Gandharvika. Yeah, well, they can read. I didn't bring the Sankirtan scores. Otherwise, no, I don't know. Were you asking me if there's any other questions? I can't answer that. Oh, someone has a question. Nandarani has a question.
She wants to ask, how do we know what Krishna wants?
How do we know what Krishna wants? What a nice question. Isn't that a nice question? It's a very devotional question, I think. I hope it is. How do we know? Who can say? How would you know what Krishna wants? What would you do if someone asked you that question? How do I know what Krishna wants?
You ask him because he tells you in the Gita.
Okay, good point. You can find out by reading Bhagavad Gita. Good point. Anything else? You can ask, yes, you can ask a spiritual master. Excuse me?
Krishna gives the...
Oh, another very good one. Krishna is Chaitya Guru. He's the Guru in the heart. And if you sincerely want to know what Krishna would like, he'll give us the intelligence. Maybe not immediately the way we interpret, but he'll give us the means by where we can understand what he wants. He'll take away our other understandings, The other clouds in our consciousness can be removed. If that sincerity is there. Step by step by step. We may see him like a little bit this, and gradually coming to the complete understanding. Gradually. Anything else?
When I asked a question in the church, we could ask question on paper. The priest said, if it feels good, it's the will of God.
If it's what?
If it feels good, it's the will of God. So
if it's your good?
If it feels good.
Feels good. If it feels good, it's the will of God. Okay? Well, there's truth in that, because ultimately everything is, nothing happens without the will of God. Even materially speaking, it is, because he's reciprocating with you. That's what you want. You want to remain in this material world feeling good. So he's reciprocating with you. Isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Prabhupada says in his poem, by your will the living entities come in this world, by your will they get out. But that will is reciprocal. It's not like no one else has will, only Krishna. He's given his will. I like to give this example, which is Gaurangi mentioned, is that I see like the Bhagavad Gita, when a person leaves their body, generally, I don't know generally, but in the West at least, generally there's a will. Is that the same in France also? People leave a will? What do you call it in French?
Testament.
Pardon?
Testament.
Testament. The same English word, testament. And we call it specifically will in English. You leave your will. And that's what's supposed to happen with your property and stuff, isn't it? When you're supposed to be this for this and that for that, and so on. So similarly, in a sense, Krishna never dies, but in a sense, he's unmanifested. We can't see him as such at this point of time, in that form. But he's left his will. And the will is Bhagavad Gita. That's his will. We should follow his will. If you follow the will, that's legal, right? You inherit whatever you're meant to inherit. So we follow the will of Krishna, you inherit the kingdom of God. That's the idea. That's the idea. And, to follow on, it's kind of related. Sridhar Swami in his commentary on 10.14.8 says that to inherit the kingdom of God, you just have to stay alive. If you die, you don't get nothing. We have to stay alive in Krishna consciousness. So this is the will of Krishna. We stay alive in Krishna consciousness. You chant Hare Krishna, whatever we're doing, which is devotional service. Stay alive, and one can, by the will of Krishna, one can inherit the kingdom of God. It doesn't mean we become the proprietor exactly. No, I'm God. Okay, Krishna, you've had your time. I'm in now. Okay, who's next? Right? You stay there for, it's not like a post like Indra. God, Krishna's always Krishna. He's not like, or even Brahma is only a time frame. There's no time, it's eternal. And we're eternally part and parcel of Krishna, and we're eternally his servants. So we find out how to serve him from somebody who knows how to serve him. Now, we're all conditioned differently, so the details of what we do is one thing, but the principle is that we are all eternal servants of Krishna. That's the principle. What we serve this way, that will change over the course of time in the conditional world until we reach what's called Sthayi Bhava, our eternal constitutional relationship with Krishna. At the moment we can't imagine concoct or whatever. We may do if it helps purify us and remind us of Krishna, but it's not an absolute fact necessarily. The fact at this stage is to develop the mood of Gopi Bharta Padakamalam Dasa 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 Anudas, to become humble, servant, prapanam, surrender to the servant, 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 servant. This is the eligibility by which Krishna reveals himself. You see in the Vedas, Krishna says, I reveal myself unto the one I choose. Again, it's not indiscriminatory, it's a relationship. When he sees the attitude, he reveals himself according to the attitude of the personality. And if we really want to see him as he is in his original, beautiful, threefold bending form, etc., then we have to go through the process, pure devotional service. Who's there? Hare Krishna. Okay, it's getting very, very late. And another wonderful day ahead for serving Srila Prabhupada's mission, helping each other to understand how we can better this Krishna consciousness movement, putting aside sometimes our own little, conditionings. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I'll just mention one thing on Sankirtan yesterday. I didn't bring the scores. They only went out for half a day yesterday. Joel couldn't go out. He was taking his exams yesterday. And the others went out for half a day because they had Padayatra yesterday in Dijon. Not in the town, just around the lake, the lake, Park Lake there. Ram Gopal wanted to go to town and said, you are not, in no way you're going to take your bulls in the town just like that. Forget it. So they went around the lake and they had a great time. They enjoyed it. But they didn't do so many books. But that's okay. Sankirtan. Huh?
They did Harinam also?
Yeah, Harinam with the bulls. And there were quite a few people hanging around. They were all fascinated, as always, with Padayatra. Yeah, so they're still in Dijon. They're another day today on book distribution. They're doing okay. I mean, when I say they didn't do many books, they're like 25 between them or something like that. Bhagavad Gita, something like that. So they're very enthusiastic. But if you want to experience their enthusiasm, you're going to have to go and join them. They don't want to come back to New Mayapur now. They don't want to come back. They're experiencing, something which many of us have experienced in our lives, of what it's like when you actually are in the Sankirtan mood, and in that spirit there. It's definitely a feeling of reciprocation from the Lord. It's a kind of surrender, and the Lord is reciprocating very nicely. And even the differences, how can they get along? Even Krishna has made it possible. It's incredible. Even though some little ups and downs are there. There's always on a journey, there's always a few bumps here and there. But generally speaking, Krishna's mercy. They're staying in Ram Leela's apartment. And she's going out too. She goes out for a short while because she cooks all the prasad for them. And she did 6 Gitas yesterday. One person, again confirmed, one person gave Ram Leela 50 euros for a Gita yesterday. Another gave her 30 euros. She's amazing. She wants to get a ladies' Sankirtan party going, if any ladies were interested. She'll facilitate it. And if anyone's interested, she's really enthusiastic. She wants to see, especially elder ladies. She said it would be great if some of the elder ladies would come for a week. And we don't, no big pressure, just do Harinam and books. Get a break out, better than going to the beach. You can go to the beach and do it there too. Fired up, huh? She's so fired up now. She's book distribution. As you all know, she gave a Bhagavad Gita to Macron. Yeah, she gave a Bhagavad Gita directly in his hand. Directly. She is straight in there and boom, straight away give it. She can talk her way around anything. You got the gift of gad, as we say in English. She said she was feeling like, she said to me last night, she said, Maharaj, she said, I feel like I'm back in the 70s. She said, you're so fired up. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.